Hey, Donald, you're a man with ideas, right?
I certainly am, David. Yet every day after I finish work at the industrial plant, catch a ride on the railroad, and take a carriage back to the farmhouse, I always have to attend to all these boring chores like plowing the fields, milking the cows, churning the butter, shoeing the horses, and all the other stuff. Come on, it's 1899. I have so many stories I'd like to write for this upcoming new century.
I can certainly relate, Donald. I live in the city, and I get telegrams left and right about all the various tasks I need to accomplish. I've got a wife and children to take care of. I have no time to write my stories. Until now.
What? Golly gee, what could you mean, David?
Our traveling stage performance show, the Writ's latest sponsor is the incredible steampunk typewriter. This marvelous machine can write your stories faster than you can think them, utilizing the infinite power of steam and clockwork to type out words, sentences, chapters, and entire books out of nothing.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I've always wanted to have a typewriter. What makes this one so special compared to other typewriters anyway?
I'm glad you asked. The steampunk typewriter comes with a revolutionary device no other writing contraption has ever had before. One that will lead the world of writers into a new century of prosperity. May I introduce the backspace button?
A backspace button? What does that mean? I'm frightened, David.
Don't worry, Donald. It only took thousands of hours worth of manpower and clockwork for the engineers of the steampunk typewriter to create this function. What this backspace button does is delete the last character you have typed with your steampunk typewriter straight off the paper like magic. Only it's not magic. It's science.
Whoa, that sounds incredible. The 20th century is going to be amazing. At this rate, there'll be airships everywhere, and steam-powered clothes makers and washing machines. People can relax and listen to music by 4 kids from Liverpool, while clockwork robots do all the work in the factories.
Now, don't let your imagination run too wild. There's no way some random kids from Liverpool will make good music in the next century.
Yeah, sorry, David, I got too excited by this typewriter. Still, can't wait for those clockwork robots.
Neither can I, Donald. Head over to the next caravan visiting your town and pick up the Writ steampunk typewriter for only $12 and 2 bits.
Aw, come on, that's way too expensive. Although I guess it is this fancy new technology, so I better start saving up.
Indeed you must. Don't miss out on the future. Welcome, fellow nerds, to another episode of the Writ, the show where inspiration comes forth, hopeful for some wisdom, but alas, leaves bitter and disappointed. Just like every girl who's gone out with either of us.
Oh, ain't that the truth.
Every single one.
Ain't that the truth. Bachelors for life.
Singles Awareness Day! Was that great this year or not? Or
it was alright. I did a really funny Facebook post where I said, Valentine's Day, the day where single people stress out about being single, and people in relationships stress out about being in relationships.
I thought it was something along the lines of the holiday where single people want to be in a relationship and the holiday where people in relationships want to be single.
That's better. I should have written that.
Actually, sorry to distract from the main stuff here, but fun thing in Japan.
Yes.
Valentine's Day is actually quite different in Japan than it is in the United States. And what I mean by that is this. In elementary school, I remember having to buy Valentines for literally every person in my class because it was an exchange.
Right.
It was like an all or nothing thing. You weren't supposed to leave anybody out so you didn't bruise any egos, right?
Right.
And then eventually you graduate to, well, you just give it to the ones you really like. In Japan, they actually have 2 different dates that you need to know. The first one is Valentine's Day, but women give chocolates to the men.
Aww.
In return, a month later, on what is called White Day, March 14th,
that's racist.
The men return the gift chocolates by, re-gifting women. Not necessarily the same chocolate. Please don't re-gift that chocolate, but they get chocolate to give to the girl.
Well, based on
so it's kind of
when I released these, between this episode and the last episode was White Day, so let us know how it went.
Let us know how it went.
How'd it go?
I hate this system. I hate the system because you have to remember for a month who gave you chocolate.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
And if you don't, they'll be very offended.
Well, I mean, it does sometimes turn out that way. Actually, it was pretty cool. I mean, didn't get much chocolate, so it was pretty easy to remember who got me stuff. So, anyways
indeed.
Enough about that holiday that has obviously already happened. Wink, wink.
So this is the episode. This is an episode where we don't have any of our usual segments because, once again, we're doing weekly instead of monthly now. This is the final episode of our alignment, character alignment group.
Right. Actually, I was thinking about making the "How do you contact us" a segment here, but Donald brought up the suggestion that we should do that every time, just in case people forget, because they might not be. They might worry if they don't hear that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought too. So instead, we're gonna do our classic running segment. Matt picks his nose.
What? No, this is not a thing.
Yeah. Oh, look at that finger go into that nostril.
This is not a thing. Stop trying to make it a thing. No, stop trying to make it a thing, please. Oh my God.
It is already a thing. I'm not trying. It is a thing.
Oh my God, stop.
Pick your nose, David. Pick it. Okay, now that our noses have been officially picked.
No. I'm just wondering what all our fans will think if we've devolved to some childish behavior.
Didn't you hear
Will
that
they
episode,
stop
the one where we
listening to
did
it?
cerebral stimulation beans? We're already at this.
But that was harmless fun. It's kind of a clever way to talk about fart jokes. Picking your nose is not much of a joke. It's just a thing that kids do and are told to stop.
And some of them listen, some of them don't.
No.
So
but I apparently need to think a lot harder about something we can throw in because I really do not want to do that.
Okay, that's my new episode idea for an ad. You pick your nose to get ideas. It's like idea fishing, but instead it's like idea boogers.
Yeah.
I guess I have to do it now if we had the fog. We waste time. And we waste time because this will probably be the shortest out of all of them. Or maybe the longest, because we'll do a bunch of filler.
We've been talking so much about the alignment system. We defined it in episode 30. We talked about good characters and most neutral characters, how to write those in episode 31. We talked about evil characters and the other neutral guy, how to write them in episode 32. So, we've spent a lot of capital on this already. It's not like we
so much money.
It's not like we didn't talk about stuff. But, now we get to do the fun part, and that is talking about ways, examples of these types of characters. These characters are going to hopefully be recognizable to you, so you can kind of get a guideline for yourself of what you're looking for when you write your own.
Right.
Obviously, how to write them is different for every story, conflict, and whatnot. Remember that alignment is simply a suggestion. It's a tendency, if you will.
Right. And if you want definitions, I guess we already mentioned that. But just because we'll have to kind of breeze past the definitions for this, we'll probably mention them a little bit for each one, just so people can kind of get caught up. But
yep.
So
just remember there are two axes in this model. The first one is the moral axis of good to evil, and between them is neutral. Then you have the ethical axis, which is law to chaos, and between them is neutral as well.
Right.
So the middle point being true neutral, where neutral as some people refer to it, which is so annoying.
I will do it.
But, no, it's true neutral. But anyway,
yes.
Those are two axes, and it's like a slider, Sometimes these happen one way, sometimes they happen another. You have to come up with those motivations yourself.
Exactly.
But as far as good models for your character to aim towards if you want to line up with this idea, well, let's talk about those now.
Indeed.
Starting with Lawful Good.
Yes, the characters that are the goody two-shoes, the ones that uphold the law and justice and truth and the American way. And speaking of which, Superman is my first one.
Yeah, I'd say he's a pretty good example. Also, if you look at early Captain America stuff, both in comics and in the MCU, he's portrayed as this lawful good because Captain America became an idea when Steve Rogers was put on ice.
Right.
Sorry, my spoilers God. If you're not aware of that.
Oh my God. Actually, no, it was pretty good.
Yeah, anyway. When Steve Rogers was put on ice, they had other characters in the comic books fulfilling the name of Captain America because the people needed that
Wasn't
symbol
one of them U.S. agent?
Truth, justice, and the America way. Well, one of them became U.S. agent, another one became Patriot. There are a bunch of those, and, you can look them up yourself, but we're not going to talk about that here. However, in the MCU, they make a notable change, and they reflected this in the comics too, that Captain America the Steve Rogers character does not stay lawful good.
Right.
So that's why we're not mentioning him much more on this particular score.
Right.
Other examples include Princess Leia.
Yes.
Obviously, she's a major leader of the Rebel Alliance. They're trying to restore the Republic and, regain that from the clutches of the Galactic Empire.
Yes, and she's the main authority figure of the Rebel. She's the one giving the speeches. Like, you can see in Empire Strikes Back, her talking to the people who are going to be in the snow speeders. Like, she's the figurehead.
Right. She is the figurehead, but she truly believes it, and so all of her actions are aimed at this. Doesn't mean that she does things that are inherently good all the time. For example, condemning somebody to die is not expressly a good thing, right?
Well, when has she done that, though?
Well, I'm just using that as an example.
I guess.
I don't know if it explicitly happened, but you get the idea.
Right. And the other example I have is Mufasa from The Lion King.
I figured that you wanted to talk about your own character.
I'll get to that last.
Which is why I skipped it.
Yeah, I know. But Mufasa, for The Lion King, he honors the traditions of the circle of life. He's the one that's telling his young Simba that, like, yes, we may eat the antelope, but we're still connected to them. We must respect all the creatures. When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. So, it's all a circle. And he's a noble and just ruler of Pride Rock.
It's all a cycle. Yep.
And so therefore,
Before he gets offed by his brother.
When he is killed, all goes to crap. So,
by the way, spoiler for a movie that's like practically older.
Mufasa's main defining trait in most people's eyes is that he dies. So, I don't think anyone's reading this like, wait, Mufasa dies?
What? Say it isn't so! Although I will be very sad when James Earl Jones finally meets his maker.
I am surprised that Carrie Fisher met her maker before James Earl Jones.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, on that lovely notes...
I love... Well, and the silly thing about it is, with the events that have happened in Force Awakens and Last Jedi... Small spoilers, if you don't mind me saying.
I don't.
That the one who's left alive in the story is the actress who's dead.
That's so stupid. I mean, to be fair, they had no way of knowing. But
they couldn't predict. That one's kind of hard to do. But anyways, to explain this just a little bit, listeners, when we first floated this idea as, a theme, like not necessarily as a set, but when we first started talking about doing this, Donald over there was using his own works and putting characters in these alignments to try and, justify it for himself.
Right, so my characters
and maybe he wrote in with them in mind. So I'm going to let him talk about which one fits in which category since it's his story.
Right, thanks, David. I'm mainly using the first book as an example, just so everyone who's read it can be on track and people have to read much further.
And if you haven't, buy that one and the sequels on Amazon.com.
Of course. So, the one I have for Lawful Good is Quinn. She is the Beta Commander, eventually the Alpha Commander, of the Laurasia Corps. Upholder of the law and prosecutor of injustice. Prosecutor of injustice.
I was about to say persecutor or
prosecutor of injustice. She's the one that follows the rules of the Laurasia Corps. She's the one. She doesn't make the rules. Like the rules are in the Laurasia Corps kind of oath book sort of thing.
True.
But she upholds them. She expects everyone to follow the same way. She's an all-around good person, but sometimes she can get strict.
Well, she is driven by the order in her life.
Yes.
And that is the best way to describe Lawful Good. They adhere to that order exclusively. Like, if it's against the law, they feel uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Even if it makes more sense sometimes.
Exactly. So
yeah. Well, let's move on from Lawful Good into the next category, which is Neutral Good. Neutral Good, of course, this refers to their ethics. Their actions are justified in their own minds, not expressly lawful or chaotic.
Exactly. So,
but they always have good intentions with their acts and should be for the good of other people is the idea.
Right. And so the two examples I have here, I know there's more, but I only count with two for now. All right.
For now, and I'm sure you could go to his research website, TV Tropes. And
Oh,
find
I'm
a huge
sure.
list.
But we got Luke Skywalker
could-
here. Good old Lukey Skywalker. I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
You know, I really wish that they had kept the name Star Killer. That just sounds so cool.
Yeah, it does sound a bit ruthless, though. Hence why they saved it for
does.
the
But
Force Awakens.
given, well, we'll save that example for when it shows up on this list. But like, you know, the original guy being Starkiller would have totally fit, and that would have been so fun. But anyway, Skywalker here.
Luke Skywalker. He yearns for more, but he doesn't act on it until he's forced to abandon his home. Like when the Empire finds him and kills his uncle and aunt, and he's like, "All right, I gotta go out and save the galaxy, I guess." And he's done it. He's saved the galaxy multiple times.
At first he starts very reluctant, but then you get past the movies into the expanded universe, and later with the sequel movies, the recent ones, that he's shown to develop, and I really love that about his character.
Makes sense. And then we got Frodo Baggins, the Hobbit himself. Well, not the Hobbit, because that's Bilbo, but his nephew.
You know, I wonder, I not to pick on the fact that you chose Frodo, but would Samwise Gamgee fit here?
I think he would.
Okay, fair enough. Just checking.
But Frodo's the main character.
Frodo,
so.
Frodo, obviously the headliner of those. He's just doing it because he's just doing it because he wants to help. The quest is for the betterment of all people by trying to destroy the ring, and you know his pure heart is why he's selected to bear the ring.
Well, in the movies, I don't know if it's in the books, but he's the one who says, "I will take it. I will take the ring to Mordor." It's his choice. He already has the ring at the time, but.
True. He got it from his uncle, who was not very happy to lose it.
I don't know if that's how it is in the books, too.
I believe it is in the meeting when they met in Rivendell. Was it Rivendell?
It was Rivendell. I need to show you these movies. I know you've seen the first one, but you need to watch
Elrond.
all of them.
I've read the books.
I know, but the movies are so good. Especially the third one, I think, is one of the greatest cinematic finales ever, in all accounts. So...
Okay.
Anyways, on that note.
Quick fun note, though. The High Council of Elders in the Elf Society, I love how all of them have played villains in MCU now.
They have. You got Kate Blanchett, Hugo Weaving, Lee Pace in the Hobbit movies.
Lee Pace, yeah. Well, I haven't seen the Hobbit movies either, of course, but...
yeah.
And who was...
every elf actor other than
Evangeline
Orlando
Lilly?
Bloom has been in the MCU.
No, excuse me. Evangeline Lilly was not.
She was
And
she was not.
well, she was not a villain. She
but
was.
also Liv
Hope
Tyler
in
was in The
Wasp.
Incredible Hulk. So literally every elf
Liv
actor
Tyler.
other than Orlando Bloom has been in the Marvel movies.
Oh well, if you specify elves, that makes a difference. Because I was like, I'm about to say, really, I don't know where Gandalf.
No.
Because Ian
he
McKellen
was in X-Men. That's not
in a
MCU.
Marvel movie, but that wasn't MCU.
No, all the elf actors, and I guess all the main elf actors. And there's that one that comes to, what's his face? Helm's Deep in the Two Towers. He's not in one as far as I know, but we'll find. Anyways, Frodo.
Yeah.
Neutral good.
So that's a thing.
All right, chaotic good.
Back to this. You didn't want to talk about your character?
Oh, right, thank you. So, Bellar, the sidekick to the main character and his best friend, he's neutral good. He believes in the Lord Jakor, and he wants to protect the civilians of this country and serve his empress. He's out for the little guy. He's, he does what he can. He really has no motivation other than he just wants to help out. He's just an all-around nice guy.
I don't necessarily think his only motivation is helping out. I think that he wants what's best for the most people, but sometimes realizing that the law doesn't necessarily provide for that.
Right. Well, he gets mad for various reasons in later books at other things. I mean,
No
vague,
spoilers. No spoilers.
There goes that siren. He's staying far away. He's so far away he can't even hear.
I was about to say you should go buy it on Amazon.com and solve it for yourself, readers.
Oh my God! So many dings. Ding. Ding, ding, ding. Ugh.
Hey, you wanted the publicity. I'm just trying to help.
Yeah, well, thank you. Actually, that's really good of you. So yeah, that's Bellar. That's neutral good.
Let's go to chaotic good. We actually have quite a few here. So there is. I guess we'll just go on these. I guess I'll take Robin Hood then.
Yeah, Robin Hood's the classic example.
Robin Hood, steal from the rich, give to the poor. His methods are very understandable. They are completely against the law, but they are for the good
But
of the
they're
people.
very altruistic.
Exactly. Altruistic. He's doing it for the people that are oppressed by the ruling class. So, absolutely chaotic good. Very, very straightforward example here.
And also, you got Batman, the ultimate vigilante, wanting to take care of the lawlessness of Gotham in his own way. And also a little note I have here, he stores the weaknesses of every fellow Justice League member in case he has to fight any of them.
Which shows he has a lack of trust. He has good intentions.
He doesn't trust
but he
anyone.
doesn't trust anybody except himself. Which, I mean, it's sensible. However, speaking of the DC Trinity, I forgot one example we were going to bring up. Did bring it up on the last time we tried recording this episode, and I just am now thinking about this. Wonder Woman, neutral good.
Why is she neutral good? Explain yourself.
Well, because she's in between the two. She's not afraid to kill if the cause calls for it, which is hardly a lawful thing, but it's not really a chaotic thing either. She is firmly established in an order, but rebels against that order when necessary.
Sounds good.
Also, it adds the nice parallel of those three heroes being the three, different classes of
the Trinity. Well, I mean, it's a good way to go, I think, so.
So, but anyway.
Speaking of superheroes, we got Iron Man.
Sure.
Not so much from Civil War onward, and same with Captain America, but for a while, Iron Man was just a showboat who did things his own way, and the UN and the SHIELD and the SHIELD.
The SHIELD, yes.
And the Avengers had to just sit and watch. He was just his own man. He did what he did.
We talked a little bit about this in episode 31 with the good characters.
I don't remember. I think it was that one, yeah.
And talking about how both Captain America and Iron Man have kind of adjusted over the course of time. They've both kind of come to the middle.
Right.
So, obviously, if you look at different points in the MCU, their alignment doesn't necessarily stay with this. But generally, Tony Stark is portrayed as this agent of chaos with the best of intentions. He's making up for what he did by making the Iron Man suit and using his intellect for the betterment of the world. Whether he does this by following laws or just absolutely skipping over them, ignoring them completely, is his choice.
Right, and speaking of the MCU, I got most of the Guardians of the Galaxy on here. The ones that aren't, I'll get to. But
Oh, okay. That was new. I'm like, what are you... Oh, do you want to talk about... I guess I'll talk about him since you decided to skip ahead. R2-D2.
Yeah, no, I did that because of the segue, but yeah.
R2-D2. I mean, his core duty is service to his owner, whoever that is, which he tends to break that rule if he doesn't like the owner.
Well, and also he breaks any rule that gets in his way of that duty.
That's true, too.
That's why I put it in. So.
All right, well, you want to talk about your character now?
Yep, good old Cortan, the main character of Megazoic. He's chaotic good. He wants to help people, but often goes about it the wrong way.
Or messes up trying. There's also something that happens.
He messes up trying, or he goes too far, or he does whatever he can to make things right. Whatever he can. And best exemplified in Book 3, The Haunted Ones.
Buy it on Amazon.com.
I'm so sick of these dings! That's fine.
If we're releasing these every week, you're going to have to either get used to them or just give up on the thing.
I'll get used to them.
It's fun. Come on.
It is fun. All right, it is fun. It's fun for you. You don't have to edit them. No, it's fine. It's not that hard.
I was about to say, it really isn't that hard to do, is it?
No, it's not. Anyways, Lawful Neutral.
Yep, let's move on to the neutral, folks. And so, Lawful
More
Neutral.
Star Wars. We got Boba Fett here. He has a personal code of honor and only accepts missions that follow it. The problem is he sides with the Empire a lot, but it's because they're technically on the side of order, and the rebels disrupt that order.
That's
so.
Right. I mentioned in past episodes, probably multiple times, so I won't reference which one, but that all lawful characters believe they are honorable.
Yes.
So here, having a personal code of honor. Also, even with lawful evil, we'll get to them, is they have their own sense of honor. Honor amongst thieves, personal code of honor, the law as honor kind of a thing. So, keep that in mind as well. Also, a good example of lawful neutral would be Inspector Javert from Les Miserables.
Yes,
obviously, in that story, he is challenged by Valjean, 24601, because what he believes man can and cannot do. Javert believes that man cannot change. And so he refuses to believe that Valjean, who was trying to do something for the betterment of his family, simply, it could be not a criminal, could become a better man because of this, because he met God in this instance. But like,
Right.
Javert refuses to believe that, even though he sees it literally with his own two eyes. He just can't reconcile that together. So he's not truly good or evil, but he is most certainly orderly, lawful.
And yes, exactly. I figured you'd like that example. That's why I put it in.
I'm just glad I got to talk about it, because that means I could add more than you did. Anyway.
Exactly. Well, I didn't know any of that, so I've never read Les Mis or seen Les Mis or.
Oh, it's one of my favorite musicals.
I'm sure it's great.
Actually I've never read the book, but I really do like the musical version, the Broadway musical. I have never seen the recent movie with Hugh Jackman. I'm sure it's good. He's
and,
a surprisingly good
Russell
singer.
Crowe.
And Russell Crowe as Javert.
Russell Crowe plays Javert, yeah. Most betrayals of the Grim Reaper are lawful neutral, because they have the duty, killing people, or like taking people who are dead.
Taking people who are dead to the underworld, yeah.
Left, good or evil, they do it. It's done.
Sorry to mention this, but like, think about all of the deities that rule the underworld could be put here, except maybe Hades. But like Anubis,
no, Hades is certainly lawful neutral.
Well, you could argue lawful evil to a certain extent. I mean, in the Hercules
no, he's
movie,
fine. He's actually one of the better ones. They're all kind of jerks.
In the Hercules movie, though, he's kind of lawful.
In the Hercules movie, he's basically the devil, but that's because it's easier for kids to get
right.
That.
But that's what I'm saying.
In the Greek mythology, he's lawful neutral.
Yeah, but like Anubis and other guardians of the gate, guardians to the gatekeeper. Guardians
Freya
to the gate.
and Odin are the other ones for in Norse mythology.
Guardians of the Gate, not the Gatekeeper, but you get the idea, listeners. So we'll go ahead and let let Donald talk about his character here.
Yes, the Megazoic example is Anra. Kind of like Boba Fett, she has a personal set of rules that she follows, but they're not the law. This is why she's not she's lawful neutral in that she does break the law, but she has a very, very personal code. She has her own law.
She's not chaotic because she has a rigid set of order in her own case. It doesn't always agree with what laws state, and so she's willing to break the law that exists. But if it breaks her code, it won't happen.
That's what makes her different from like Javert and like a lot of other lawful stuff. That's why these things are so flexible. So
exactly, I love how there's a lot of room. I mean, we could spend a lot more time talking about this. Obviously, we spent a ton already, but again, for more information, please go ahead, take a look at Easy Domus, the site I used. TV Tropes has got a great list of examples in all of these things as well. Please do some research of your own if you're interested. There's a lot more information to be had. We'll move on to True Neutral.
True Neutral. We got the Ents is the one I got, another Lord of the Rings one. Because they just do not care about the outside world, good or evil. They just stick to their forest. They do what they tend to the trees. They shepherd the trees.
Fair enough.
They help the good guys because when they realize that when they discover that Saruman has destroyed much of their forest, they take action. But they are still true neutral.
Right. They don't step in until it threatens them because they're most interested in their own selves. Is the thing. Speaking of trees coming to life and whatnot, this reminds me that I really want to make sure that we put, flora, fauna, forces of nature, Mother Nature, any animals are true neutrals.
Exactly.
They certainly are.
We made that very clear throughout all of this. So.
I'm just reiterating here.
No, I know. I'm not saying that in a way to get on to you. I'm just pointing that out. No, it's fine.
Another example: Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, he certainly is.
When he's on the case, he is completely unbiased. He just focuses on what happened, how to solve it, using that amazing intellect to find the slightest clue in the weirdest situations possible. Others often just get in his way, like the Inspector Lestrade from Scotland Yard, for example. But occasionally, he will accept aid if it benefits him. Obviously, he keeps Watson around.
Exactly.
If he didn't like Watson or hope for his help, he wouldn't ask Watson to accompany him on most of these adventures, and he does, like almost all the time.
Right.
Have you ever read any of the original stories, by the way, Don?
I would really like to, but I haven't.
Well, here's the fun part. All of them happen with Watson because he is the narrator.
Yeah, I think I remember reading that he's the like a lot of times old books do that where like the narrator it's first person with a guy who knows the main character.
Right. Well, and it works
So-
because it gives us the reader something to relate to because like, oh, we're seeing this through your eyes, not we are the character and you're just talking about us, slant or whatever. So it's really
Right, exactly.
It's really nice. But anyway, Sherlock Holmes, of course, classic character. I've read a lot of his stuff. It's great.
I know
Check it
you're
out.
a big fan.
Check it out, listeners.
It's pretty good. The other Guardians of the Galaxy I have here, one of the Guardians of the Galaxy members that
one
it
guardian of
doesn't
the
fit
galaxy.
canon good is Drax. Is a guardian of a galaxy, yeah. It's Drax. He's out for his own desires, out for his own needs. He just happens to stick around with the rest.
Well, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I was about to say though, like we can never forget that he has true motivation that is very, very easily seen, and it does work for the benefit of other people. So you could argue him as neutral good, I suppose, but.
Right, but he also killed. He's Drax the Destroyer. He killed a lot of people.
I understand that. The one thing that I can never let go every time we talk about Drax, I have to bring this up because I love this scene. Do me.
It's pretty good. My nipples. Remember that?
You had to time that when I was taking a sip. Thanks, jerk.
I didn't know you were taking a sip. I can't see you up there. There you are. Hello. We're Skyping each other, guys.
Behind the curtain. Anyway, Matt.
He gave me the finger, guys.
Donald, what about your character here?
All right, Megazoic example. Lantha. Humble member of the Psi Squad. Does it upgrade later? We'll find out if you're reading the sequels. Or maybe it doesn't. Ding. Who knows?
No, I was about to say we should use a spoiler siren. It's a different sound effect, right? Anyways,
she just follows orders, but she snarks at them constantly, can occasionally go rogue if she feels like the mission needs it. She really has no personal drive other than the Leisure Corps that she happens to be a part of. If she wasn't in a squad, she'd do absolutely nothing with her life.
Which begs the question, what motivated her to join it anyway, because it's not mandatory. But that's
just a sense of purpose, just to get a sense of purpose, I would presume.
Yeah. Well, we move to the more fun characters, the chaotic neutral ones. In the episode, I did mention Deadpool, so I'll start with that. You can't.
Might as well.
You can't really tell what he's planning to do unless you truly know him, and I'm sometimes worried he doesn't even know himself.
I don't think anyone knows him. Not even himself.
Not even himself. Not even Vanessa. But anyway, it's one of those things that he does everything with some intention, but getting it out of him, or even like understanding it, is really difficult. And that's what makes him so chaotic. But he's truly neutral because he's not afraid to get dirty. He does a lot of wet work type stuff, killing people on contract, on demand.
Just for the fun of it, just for
the heck of it. Yeah, there's that too. And I do love the slicing bullets thing he does. That's really freaking amazing. But anyway, other chaotic neutral characters, go.
Another Marvel example, and the last Guardian of the Galaxy, Rocket.
All right, fair enough.
The raccoon himself. I mean, he is an animal, so I guess, but he's not true neutral because he's got a gun.
He was a modified animal. So there's a little bit of leeway in that. Like Groot, you could argue Groot is true neutral if you go off of all living things that are not human are supposed to be true neutral.
He does good things. Like he gave a flower to a little girl for absolutely no reason other than he's a good guy.
No, we know he's a good dude. I'm not saying that. Groot has still more intelligence than most of the animals I'm referring to in that true neutral thing, so just to separate him from that pack.
Right.
Pack.
Good one.
I didn't actually plan that.
That's the best jokes, aren't they?
They are. Okay, so did you want to say anything else about Rocket? Because I'm going to go on to the next one.
Nah, I think we're good. Jack Sparrow, the Pirate of the Caribbean himself.
I was going to do Captain Jack Sparrow. He does not care a whit about the law. He does whatever the heck he wants. Often he does align with good, but there are quite a few questionable things he does along the way. And with Jack Sparrow, the only thing I always have to bring up is, why is the rum always gone?
That's his motivation, rum.
Pretty much, rum, babes, and loot. That's it.
Yep. Whose side is Jack on at the moment?
His own.
That's a quote from the first part of
Yeah,
where Elizabeth and Jack,
at the
Elizabeth and Will
moment.
are like, whose side is Jack on at the moment?
Yes, very true. Very true. Anyway, how about the Megazoic example?
Vooneron, Voon the Loon, his nickname that was given to him by himself because he is crazy.
That's not a nickname you usually give yourself, so it's pretty dang earned if you're calling yourself that.
Yeah, and he encourages other people or other dinosaurs to call him that. So,
You made that Freudian slip again.
anyways, he does his own missions when he was an active bounty hunter, and he did mentor some other characters. But he goes on and off about freedom and anarchy and how he loves it all. And he often on his retired days, he just sits in his house, does nothing, often yells at his neighbors and gets onto their nerves. But he protects them sometimes, or sometimes he just makes their lives terrible.
Well, I was going to say, should we throw out the spoiler siren and just tell who it is?
It doesn't matter.
Well, you avoided it like it was a big spoiler or something. That's why I was.
Well, I don't think it matters. I don't think it adds anything
right.
if we say who it is. So.
No, and listeners could probably figure it out because we've already talked about one's line of work.
And hopefully they've read Megazoic.
Yeah, if you haven't, buy it on Amazon.com. We actually went a while between that one, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
All right, and now we're on to the villains. We'll start with Lawful Evil.
All right. Classic Star Wars example, Darth Vader.
Anakin Starkiller. No, I'm kidding. But yes.
Bum, 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 bum. That guy.
Yes. Luke. Another James Earl Jones character, by the way.
I hate sand. It's coarse and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Are we just not saying anything about Vader, or are you waiting for me to do it?
No, I just said an Anakin quote.
Oh, okay.
Do you think I just said that for no reason?
I honestly was worried about it.
No, that's a quote that Anakin says that everyone makes fun of. He says it to Padme.
Oh, okay. Well, normally we don't take so long to set up the thing, so I'm just like, are you going to say this, or are you waiting on me?
No, I'll say it. He has no tolerance for incompetence and kills his generals who fail him, but he never kills for the fun of it.
That's true.
He upholds the rule of the Empire with an iron fist. I mean, probably literally, because he's more machine than man.
That team of elite troopers he has is called Vader's Fist.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
That's why I was laughing. Anyways, another example.
Yep, so he oppresses the galaxy. He looks really scary. He chokes the crap out of people who fail him.
It's true. Honestly, I think a lot of conqueror type peoples would come here too, dictators and the like. If you're looking for a real life example, let's throw out the name Adolf and leave it at that.
Yeah.
But another example.
You mean Adolf Ferguson? No, I'm just kidding.
Who the heck is that?
I don't know. I just picked this random German last name that's not.
Anyway, the one here that we have is Lex Luthor, who's obviously a very successful businessman, so he obviously is capable of following orders and doing quite well for himself, and he just really does not like Superman. Because Superman represents everything that he would otherwise be. You know, if it wasn't for Superman, he would be a god to these people, and he wants to be. So he just tries to, act against Supes. That's basically
exactly. That makes sense to me. I mean, if I was a self-made man who worked my way up to get where I was, and then this guy
toppled.
who just was given all of his powers came parading in, I would be lawful evil.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There are other characters here too, of course, but for right now, I guess we'll go ahead and save some time and look them up on TV tropes. We'll move to neutral evil.
Hey, what about the Megazoic?
I'm sorry. The Megazoic example of lawful evil. My apologies.
Dranax, Prince Dranax, the main villain of Megazoic. He definitely is. I'm not going to go on about that. So, but he wants to attack Laurasia. He wants to attack Laurasia, but he knows he can't just do it unprovoked, and tries everything he can to convince his father, the king, to attack Laurasia rather than just do it against his will. So, lawful evil. Also, he's a prince of an evil thing, so it comes with the territory. Comes with the job.
Well, does that mean that princes are always lawful? Because I can think of a few that aren't.
No, that's not true, but he is.
Another one, speaking of princes, how about Prince John from the Robin Hood stories?
Yeah, I'd say so. He declares them an outlaw.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things.
That's a quote from one of the Robin Hood movies.
Yeah, one of the many.
One of the Russell Crowe ones. Speaking of Russell Crowe.
Wait, he's in multiple
Well,
Robin
the
Hood
only
movies?
Russell Crowe one.
I was about to say.
The only Russell Crowe one.
No. So yeah, but Prince John, obviously, he abuses the power that he is given when his brother Prince William goes off to the Crusades.
Yep.
So,
well, Richard.
Or excuse me, Prince Richard.
Not William.
King Richard.
You're thinking of William
Prince.
the Conqueror, William Wallace, or whoever.
There are a lot of similar names in that era of history.
William
from
Shakespeare.
That era from that part of the world. I apologize for mixing it up. I apologize for skipping your cue on Dranex. To make up for it, here's an early one. How's the Megazoic example for neutral evil?
Oh, we're not going to do that one last? I mean, for neutral evil? Okay, fine. The Cortex is neutral evil, the other real villain of Megazoic.
And you were going to edit me out!
Hey, I'm saying they're both working together. Is that true? Is it not? We'll find out.
Find out for yourself!
Megazoic ding! Okay. He's a real piece of work who wants to destroy everything just to prove his own power, or its own power.
I was about to say, why are you saying he?
Manipulates her allies and plans to destroy them eventually, too. We've been recording for 3 hours, guys.
Most of the 3 hours, anyway. Oh, I'm sorry. That's really funny. Yeah, so, sorry, I gave you the early cue. Obviously, there are a lot of Disney villains apply here. Of course, neutral evil. We talked about this in episode 32. I'm not going to ding. But,
Thank you.
The villains, like, the majority of them fall under this category. They're not expressly chaotic or entirely lawful, so they fit in the middle. But most Disney villains do apply here. Obviously, certain ones may, break out, but...
Right. Well, I think a good Disney villain that I have written here specifically is Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
He sails the seas against the wills of the empires of man, but he recruits sailors for his crew by honestly convincing them when they're on the brink of death.
And hey, anything is better than death for a lot of people because it's too scary.
Do you fear death?
Well, I fear the locker. But that's owned by Davy
I
Jones.
fear tentacle faces.
Yeah, oh, well, don't get me started on that. But anyways, also,
finally,
I'm curious what you think about where we should put Magneto on this scale.
I don't know enough about him, honestly. I've never seen any X-Men movies or read any of the comics, so...
Well, okay, to put it this way, Magneto bucks against society because of his family history. He's a Jew.
Right.
And so the Holocaust directly affects him, and so he bucks against that system. He's always trying to undermine the vision of his once friend Xavier, Professor Xavier, in, bringing mutant kind into a peaceful cohabitation with regular people, right? Well, Magneto's like, we have these powers, why not rule over everyone? But he's not lawful evil either, to me.
I'd say he's neutral evil.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking he belongs here, just as a thought. Also, a random plug for something that is worth your time if you're interested in these characters. IGN, the entertainment website, has a comics section, and they published a list of the top 100 villains and top 100 heroes. There's a lot because it's 100 characters, but it is a fascinating read if you have the time.
Absolutely.
Sorry, random plug there.
No worries. Okay, so...
Finally! We're on our last one! Man,
do this.
Don't you think this episode has just been devilish in length and like chaotic in nature?
Sure.
Speaking of which, chaotic evil.
Oh my god, that was the most forced segue we've ever had. And that's saying something.
No, I think that's still better than some of yours, but I'm trying to do it like you do. Now you feel my pain.
Okay, I understand. I'm not. Alright, so...
You're not processing.
We got chaotic evil. Classic example, the Joker. Because he's the Joker. Come on.
Yeah, what more do you need to say? Like, he is a perfect representation of this. I was trying to think of a couple of others. We compared this category to, like, the complete monsters. And so, from an older version, an unpublished version of Megazoic, I want to throw out a Zoa, but most of the listeners wouldn't understand the reference.
I also think she was lawful evil, too, to be fair. She was more true neutral evil, I think.
Well, anyways.
Also, it doesn't matter. No one knows.
It's not worth it because nobody understands that reference since they never see that version of it. But, you know, I'm just trying to... Because there's got to be more examples. We only have 2 on here. And so I'm just like...
Okay, I'm looking through here. Loki from the first Thor movie is kind of chaotic evil.
Oh, of course, Loki. Yeah, doughy.
Alright, Loki. Yeah. Also, apparently Godzilla can be that way. Sometimes he's chaotic neutral, but in the original, his only goal seems to be get revenge on all mankind.
Because he's created by nuclear waste in the original, yes.
Right.
Well, mutated through nuclear waste, and so he's really hacked at humans for doing it, which makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, you know, because the chaotic evils are the ones that have the most destructive power, I could see why you'd put things there. But please do not put Mother Nature in chaotic evil. Please.
Some really cynical people might think that
Well, I mean, timing is one thing, but, like, it's not really like they are out to get you. They being apparently the term. But anyway, finally then, how about the Megazoic example for chaotic evil?
This is the character when I was saying last episode about when chaotic evil people are funny. Not all of them, but the ones that are fun. The one villains that are funny are this. This is what I'm talking about. Olajix. He is the guy who creates mutants all willy-nilly because he thinks it's cool with no regard to the beasts he creates. Often kills his mutants when done with them, usually by feeding them to other mutants. While he served the lawful evil Dranax, he has zero problem changing his allegiance. So,
well, he floats with the wind. He's very fluid, almost like he goes from one thing to another because it's just what he wants to do. It's better for him. Yes, because exactly. obviously, people that are evil tend to be interested in themselves first and foremost, it feels like.
Right.
So yeah. There's that.
That's it. That's the alignment system. We did it.
We made it. Somehow. Wow. I'm nearly out of things to say. I did not think this would happen. Wait, I got it.
What do you got?
Remember I told you I had that thing?
No, I forgot. My brain is putty at this point.
Okay, well, before we get into our usual closing stuffs, then I do want to say this real quick.
Yes.
At the site I was looking at, Easy Damas, each alignment has its own page, which lays out much more in-depth information, like the relationship between chaotic good and lawful good, for an example. So at the risk of just solely plagiarizing their hard work, we recommend you take the time to go to Easy Damas, go to TV Tropes, check out their stuff for yourself. Also notable for this particular conversation, the Easy Damas website references all of this with regards to the game responsible for its creation, Dungeons and Dragons.
Absolutely.
So it may not have such depth in your own writing as it would in a tabletop game where that has to come into play. Right. Although, DMing or playing tabletop RPGs is always a neat adventure just waiting for you to happen. So maybe if you want to do that, it's a good way to get some ideas in your brain and have fun with friends doing it.
Why not?
So totally recommended. Except I'm not in a place where I could do that right now. But it's one of those things though that the information is out there if you're just willing to seek it. We use those sites, but please, if you're interested in more, don't just ask us. I mean, we can help, certainly, but we'll probably just point you there. So go ahead and take a look for yourself.
I mean, we have our own thoughts sometimes, but sometimes.
Yes. Emphasis on sometimes, apparently.
And if you want to hear these own thoughts...
yeah, please. We just did 3 episodes on it. Well, and this one.
Well, and also, contact us.
Yes. I'm sorry. That's what you were going for.
Contact us at Matt D, 2 T's, at mathodonaldcreator.com.
If you need us to spell it out for you, please just take a look at the description. It's there. It's fine. You can contact us through
you
your
got
own
this. You can
email
do it.
page. You can use the website and do the contact page through there as well. If you have a question for us, of course, please specify which host won. Also, if you're going to go ahead and send us the mail, did you also tell us if it's okay to share your thoughts on the air with all of listeners? Because obviously we don't want to do that without your permission. But
Absolutely
hey, if you've got recommendations, we've got this new format. This is the close of that first set, as we said. So if you've got ideas for a set of episodes we could do, shoot them our way. If you've got recommendations,
absolutely.
like the format, hate the format. Maybe we should do a bi-weekly thing with more various prompts or something. I mean, we've got options. We just need to hear from you about those. So please let us know. Other than that, if you want to follow us on, well, I say us, but more Donald, on professional
if you want to follow
social
me
media
personally,
stuffs, how do you do that?
Okay, you follow me at Matthew Don Creator on Facebook, at Matthew Don64 on Twitter, and Matthew Don64 on Instagram. Why 64? Because 64 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. I don't know the rest of the words to this song. Something about owing my soul to the company's store? What is it? I don't know. Most of our audience most doesn't know this song anyways. It's a really old song.
Deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. The name of the song is 16 tons, but okay, just multiply that by 4 and you get 64. So it's okay, listeners. Thanks for listening to the Writ With, the show where us two twits talk about writting. We talked about the character alignment system all month. We'll be back with something new next time. But so please stay tuned. Until then, I suppose. Anything else for the good of the cause?
Nope. I'm Matt Donald.
Right. I'm Matt David. Keep writing, listeners. We'll see you next time with a new theme. Thanks for listening to the Writ With.
Bye.
The